Om. 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 Om Shri Sai Ram. A warm welcome to each and every one of you that have joined yet another evening of Region 10's Inspirational channel. As you may remember, in the last 2 months, we have been looking at one of the core values that Swami has taught us, Dharma. And today will be the third out of the 3 lectures that we had planned in this series. The speaker this evening that we are going to have in a minute join us is coming from a very pious and illustrious family. His parents have both imbibed in him. His father is a renowned Sanskrit professor, and he was the vice chancellor of the National Sanskrit University at Tirupati, and he was a presidential scholar as well. More than that, his parents, the mother and father, imbibed in him the love for Swami from a very young age. So he then went on to attend Swami's school in Puttaparthi, and then subsequently as a YA in Boston area. He was the center coordinator, YA coordinator, as well as the Region 1 YA coordinator. Through these associations, he was very actively involved in organizing the World Conference for the Youth in 2009. And he has arranged a lot of service projects in and around Boston area. Subsequently, his family moved to Austin, and him and his wife have been very active members of the Austin Sai Center as well. As SSC teachers, his wife participates in the African Refugee Service through the Sai Sisters program and so on. So they are very active members. And Brother Madhav, who I am talking about, we are very, very happy to have you on this channel, sharing your experiences with us, Brother Madhav. He has been a speaker at many of the retreats, sharing his experiences with Swami. He has had a lifelong association because Swami has guided him in every step of his way, during his student days, as a young adult, as a, in his family, as a parent, to be involved in the community with his work, and so on. So, what lessons he has learned at the feet of Swami as it pertains to Dharma is what we are going to spend the next hour. Where, Brother Madhav, I request you to share more about your background in your own words. I've only given a short glimpse of your very long association with Swami. I'm really looking forward to listening to your experiences and the lessons that you've learned, so we could all get inspired. Thank you for doing this for us. Sai Ram.
Thanks, Vijayashri. Yasya prabhavaha sutaram agamyaha yasyakritih purna dayamburasihi anandado yasya cha drishtipataha tam satya saishamham prapadhye. Beloved Swami, dear sisters and brothers, Sai Ram. And thanks, Vijayashri, for that wonderful introduction. Probably it's hard to follow that because that's a lot of wonderful descriptions about me, and that's what probably is visible externally, but there's a lot going on inside that we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, thank you for that wonderful introduction, and also for giving the opportunity to reminisce the experiences that I've had, or the family had, with Swami. And also thanks, Sai Priya, for helping out with logistics, before I forget, which I tend to do as I get carried away in Swami's experiences. So I wanted to say that right up front. Let me share my screen. Cool. So the topic is, as Vijayashri mentioned, the three of three on Dharma, and a topic that I don't know if I know enough about, but maybe I'll try to share some experiences that I think may be what Dharma means. So we'll figure this out together. So I'm not here to preach or tell you what is Dharma, but I'll share experiences that I have had as a student in Puttaparthi, as a child before coming to Puttaparthi as a student, and as a young adult, and so on. You might have, if you've seen the picture that was included in the invitation for this event, the picture that was put, I think, was probably the first picture. And just wanted to flash this one again because Swami um, showed us again his omniscience in so many ways. But in this one, um, my brother-in-law was taking the picture, and he took the first picture, and then Swami said, "Hey, are you operating the camera for the first time?" And he said, "You have your hand in front of the flash, and the picture didn't come out good." And then he asked to take the picture again, and the second picture is come out nicely. Also, I'm not sleeping in the second picture. That's pretty interesting. Wanted to share that, and this was our wedding in the interview room. Swami married me and my wife Kiran Mai. Kiran and family were not, they knew of Swami, but they were not devotees, or they had not known about Swami's life or message or anything like that. So this was their first encounter with Swami. And in that session, Swami had created, as we took his blessings, Pad Namaskar, both of us, after the before the picture, Swami actually waved his hand and kept creating these yellow rice, the akshatas, to bless both of us. And he kept on doing like this, like this, like that, and chanted all the mantras that they would say, chant for performing the wedding. And that was, I still feel it when I just narrate that, like the akshatas were like just pouring all over both of us. And then Swami, my mother was there, and usually my mother, some folks who know my mother would say in the interview room, Swami is not the one giving the interview. My mother is the one interviewing him because she nonstop asks Swami all kinds of questions, and it was a wonderful relationship to see that the devotee and Swami, like how freely she was able to ask him everything. And if you can't ask him, who else can you ask? Was her kind of mindset. And so she actually, in that excitement, she chanted a line from one of my father's slokas that he had written, which is Mangalam Vishwavandhyaya, Mangalam Satyasayine. And she chanted that, and Swami was like, Amma, we are just starting the interview, we just performed the wedding, you're already singing Mangalam. That was that's the way how Swami interacted with so freely, and just making spirituality not a boring, mundane exercise, but just in every small thing he used to say it in a funny way, but there was something very nice and deep, and something that you will remember forever. There was one small incident there, but once he performed the wedding, he blessed us out in the outside interview room. He created a ring that he asked her to put on my finger, which is the Navaratna ring. And there's a whole story for that. I won't go into that. But he also had said that he will give the Mangal Sutra. And my parents asked Swami, you said you'll bless the girl with the Mangal Sutra. And he, as usual, he likes us to crave for it and beg for it and deserve it. I guess someone said it well, Charlie Munger probably, like, the best way to get what you want is to be of deserving of it. So he really makes sure that we crave for it. And so he, for a few minutes he didn't. I said, no, nowadays I'm not creating Mangal Sutras for anybody and this and that. And he went talking. And then finally, after a few minutes, he said, okay, I'll give you a special Mangal Sutra, not the regular one. And it'll be very stylish. And he created this black beads with gold in the middle and links and all that. And how Swami is the master of creation, right? I mean, it's just phenomenal. I'm sure many of you have seen him do this in the interview room or outside. He creates his Mangal Sutras or anything. I mean, if you take like a chain that's fully tangled, like for me, it's nearly impossible to untangle it, even if I fully focus on it. For him, it's just he's a master of creation. There was a little bit of tangle. He was talking, he's created, tick, 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 he was chatting, and he completely untangled it. And then he gave it he was giving it to my wife, but I put my hand in middle, and I thought because she put the ring, I thought I had to take it from him. And I put my hand in the middle like, hey, you're in hurry to get married. um, and he knew again that my mother-in-law and the family, Kiran's family, had planned for a ceremonial, like a traditional Andhra style wedding, 2 days after that, on February 1st. And so he wanted that to happen. So he told me, hey, wait, you will do it when your mother-in-law and the parents, everybody had planned for it. And so that other thing, to me, every one of this is dharma. I feel like that because Swami says dharma is not just about living righteously. That people say, oh, dharma is right conduct. Like Swami says, no, there is actually no English word for dharma. Dharma is not just about right conduct. Dharma is a lot more than that. And I feel every small thing like this, Swami demonstrated, like how to respect even your own parents' wish on how they've planned things. And he would do this very often, even in school dramas, when some dignitaries come, or how to treat them, and every bit of it. To me, that is also dharma, like how you treat when someone comes to your home, or how you treat when you go to someone's home and not be a nuisance to them and ask them to adjust your idiosyncrasies and things like that, or how do you respect the time and everything. To me, Swami taught as dharma, and I'll talk about that also in a little bit. But one of the things that I remember every minute of my day is inside in the interview room, where he took just us, the family. He spent a lot of time talking about a lot of different things in that. But one of the things that stuck with me, because obviously I was young, just getting married, and I was also going to come back to US immediately within a week or 2 weeks. And Swami immediately, he was talking to my parents, and then he pulled me, he held my hand, and I was like literally in his lap. And he said, short temper, short temper. I said, no, Swami, I'm very calm. I mean, like people generally say and think that I'm calm, but I actually am not. And I've realized that over years. But Swami knew about me a lot more than I did about myself a long time back. He said, no, no, Swami, I'm actually good. I'm the chutzpah to actually tell Swami that I know more about myself, how stupid it is. But he said, Nora, when you get married and you live with another person in a different country, far away, and immediately, not from Swami, far from your parents and your family, you both are living, that is when your short temper will come out. And the way I want you to deal with it is immediately when you get angry, think of speed breakers. Think of a speed breaker and slow down. Don't rush into saying something, doing something. And that is something I hope I've done a decent job of, and maybe only Kiran can tell me or tell everybody about it. But I'd like to claim that I am reminded, if not if I'm practicing it or not, I'm reminded of that anytime I get angry. And again, to me, that is dharma. Like, not in many ways. One way is Swami has said it, are you following it? And that is dharma. Are you treating your partner, your spouse, with respect and as an equal, two wheels of the cart? Or do you think you are somehow better and bigger than your partner? I feel somehow there's so many small lessons just in that one little thing Swami said about speed breaker, when you get angry, speed breaker. I think it probably, hopefully, will help anybody in the sadhana. We're not saints. I mean, at least I'm not. And if I was, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be somewhere else. And so, thinking about ways to apply some of these in our day-to-day life when we get angry at our boss or coworker or whatever. And not to say that I don't like I mean, just being very frank with you, I even cuss to myself. It is part of the game, and so I have something to say at the end as well. It's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic and being free and open with Swami. So one of the things Swami talked about also is the Purusharthas during this session. And one first thing is Dharma in the four Purusharthas, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And Swami said, typically people say Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha when you're getting married. And it's not about, like they say, oh, you have to live righteously. And Artha, you have to, earn a lot of wealth and this and that. Kama is to have progeny and kids and this and that. And then finally you aspire for liberation. Like, how is that even possible? Like, I just don't see the link. Like, if you're going after all the worldly things and trying to accumulate material stuff and going after progeny and this and that, like, where is the link? And Swami explained to us in that few minutes, like, dharma, it's not about just right conduct. It is about how you live your life in every way, in your thought, word, and deed. But also, he said, you tie the dharma with artha. Your livelihood, you should do it with dharma as your foundation. And he also said, artha is not about accumulating wealth and multiple houses. It is about the spiritual wealth and spiritual awareness. And then he also talked about karma. Karma is, not about building progeny and having cheaper by the dozen number of kids, but it's about having the karma for God, like the spiritual thirst for spirituality and God, and then attaching yourself to God, and that's how you sort of can have the moksha, the liberation. And one other thing he also said, which stuck with me, is that Mandiramlo led Bhagavantudu, uh, Churchilo led Bhagavantudu. Like, God is not in mandirs, God is not in churches, God is not in temples. He said, Hridayamlo not Bhagavantudu. Like, to me, that is also very important, um, something to take away from. Like, God, if you limit God to a church or a temple or an altar, then that's where God will be. If you want God to be with you, then He said this many times in many occasions, that you put Him in your heart and take Him wherever you go. And that's the way I think you can practice the love in action for God, that is Dharma. With that, I want to also come back to, like, okay, there is human aspect, there is Madhav, there is Kiranmai, and there is Swami in the middle. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's one of the discourses Swami said, like, realizing that you are divine, and so all of the Kiran and the Madhav and the on the chains and the clothes and the white clothes and this and all of these things should disappear, and it should be Swami and Swami. Very far from that, but I guess it's always nice to shoot for the stars, so might at least land on the moon or whatever that is. A disclaimer, I think, like everything I'm saying here, take it with a big elephant-sized grain of salt. This is probably, some of you might know the story of, six folks who may not necessarily have the vision because they have a blindfolded or whatever, and each of them touching the elephant and saying, "Oh, elephant is a wall. Oh, elephant is a fan, and oh, elephant is a spear," and so on. That is my life. Obviously, I'm one of them, and so whatever I describe, all the experiences I share are authentic and they happen. But any opinions or perspectives I share or the blindfolded person speaking. So please bear with me. Swami said this, and everything has a dharma, he said. And he gave this beautiful analogy, and I liked it a lot. Like, he said, what is the dharma of a car? And I was thinking, as I listened to Swami speak, I said, oh, yeah, dharma of the car is to take me from point A to B, point A to point B. It's like Uber. Like, but Swami said, Dharma of a car is to take you to your destination. I was like, wow, that is something. It's something to think about. Like, it's not randomly going from point A to point B. Like, you can get in an Uber and go all over. Right now, I'm in SFO for a conference. I'm like, yeah, I could go all over the place, but is that like the main dharma of the car? And Swami talks about like steering wheel undali, wheels undali, ball bearings undali. There should be wheels and there should be ball bearings for you to say it's a car. There should be motors and there should be tires. And if all of those are there together, then you say, okay, this is a car. But even then, is it a car? Like, this is a picture. You can say this is a car. Is it a car? No, it's a picture of a car, right? I mean, so what Swami is trying to drive home is that like everything has a dharma. A car's dharma is to take you from wherever you are to your destination. And if it doesn't, then it's not really a car. Similarly, Swami also said in another occasion, what is the dharma of fire? To burn. And he said, what is the dharma of human? To be human. In fact, the way he said it, I couldn't translate it in English, but manavattvame manavadi dharmam. Humanity is itself the dharma of human, he said. And what is humanity? What is being human? There's all kinds of dictionary definitions. It's about being compassionate, it's about being kind and loving and in service of others. Um, One of the things that I wanted to say as a child, and I'll jump a little bit back and forth. I'll become a child and I'll become an adult. So like please bear with me. I didn't want it to be a chronological. So as a child, so I think one of the things that I felt when I saw Swami for the first time when I was 8 or 9 years old, during those like darshans where you had the sand and Swami would walk in the sand and his steps would fall in the sand. So uh, like before the darshan they would wipe the sand clean so it's like a perfect slate, and then so I used to drop Swami's pictures on the sand as we were waiting for Swami to come and all that. And then there was some curiosity. I think that's something that I felt when I was a child, that there's something spiritual or inquisitiveness, if you will. Like, who is this person? Who's this guy with like this beautiful hair? And like, I mean, obviously I was a 9 year old, so Swami looked huge to me. I was sitting here and it's like he comes near you. And he came, luckily I was in the front row that day, and Swami came near me and he created vibhuti for a person next to me. And then I inserted my hand in the middle. Um, and that immediately Swami looked at me and said, "Hey," and he made very big eyes. I got so scared. I'm like, I said, I'm done. This is it. God himself has got mad with me. So I think this is the end of me. But immediately, within a flash of a second, he made such a beautiful, a smile. And he said, just waved, not for you, kind of thing. And that, I'll remember that all my life. Again, that was my first introduction to Swami's love and discipline. It actually started with discipline and then love. To me, I always emphasize that. Like Swami used to yell on top of his lungs, if you will, in discourses like, parents are ruining the children. Like you give them so much love without any discipline, you're ruining them. So for me, that was a lesson for me. Like discipline, what he gave me first. Like, hey, not for you. And then immediately within a second, he turned the most beautiful, loving smile I cannot imagine. And so that sort of sparked in me like, oh, this person, this interesting. I mean, he's not mad with me. He's also not something like, oh my God, like out there. He's kind of accessible to me. That was my first introduction, and maybe in that smile, he probably had seen, of course, a bigger plan in a couple of years. I'll join his school and all that. But interesting, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, is what Steve Jobs says. I really like that. You can't connect dots looking forward. The other thing that happened in that trip was my parents were called for interview, and I had no idea. I had actually no knowledge of speaking English. I was clueless. My uncle also was with me, and Swami, since he'd called my father was going in the veranda, and then my mother was going. I was like, okay, Swami called parents, so you go. So I got up, my uncle got up, and we were running towards the veranda. And then there was like commotion, who are you and why are you here? So Kyle Das and there were a couple of volunteers there. They asked and they stopped me, and then Swami from the near the interview room, he put his hand like this, and immediately they stopped us and they didn't let us go in. But in that interview room, Swami talked about me and my uncle, my mother said, Swami, my son couldn't come in, my brother-in-law didn't come in. They must be feeling very sad that they don't have your blessings or interview. But Swami said, Amma, um, to give nourishment to the tree, do you have to water every leaf or do you water the roots? And I'm watering the roots, and every leaf in the family will get the nourishment. And to me, that was a beautiful lesson because after that, literally everybody on either side of my dad's family and my mom's family got into Swami's fold, and some of them got personal blessings from him and things like that. But I think that word of his, that Satya, Swami actually said Satyam is the foundation for Dharma. And so when he says something, it actually is true. Satyame na acharamu, dharmame na pracharamu, shantiye na swabhavamu. And so those things really struck with me, like that he said watering the roots, and he also talked about, oh, I know your son. He goes to this school right next to your home. He even I know he's drawing my picture, my face in the sand. I know he's an artist. He draws. And those things, when my mother came out of the interview and later explained to me, it made an impression on me. And then when we went back home, my mother said, if you really, crave for him, he will bless you. Since you draw, why don't you draw a picture and put it in the altar? I drew a Swami's picture and put it in the altar. And then in the next morning when I took shower, she taught me that, first thing you do is you take a shower and you pray to Swami, you chant these slokas and all that. Those were some of the things she had taught me. So I did that, and I was very surprised and happy to see the whole drawing of mine was sprinkled fully of vibhuti, and that also made an impression on me that Swami just doesn't say stuff randomly. That is his dharma. He says, once you come to me, I will never leave you, even if you leave me. That is my dharma. But are you doing your dharma? You come to me and then you just get distracted. Then don't get distracted, right? In that well, in one of the few initial interviews, I just wanted to say this one thing, very subtle but something deep, which maybe I'll leave it to your interpretations. But Swami makes it so human and so accessible. Swami had created a bracelet for my dad a while ago, and he knows everything he had given anybody, right? Like he looks at that and it's like, hey, I gave it to you, it's an old design, give it to me. And he took that old bracelet that he had created. I'll give you a new design. I'll change it. He took it and he just blew on it, right? Like in front of you, he was just blowing. And boom, within your front of your, the thing changed. The silver bracelet, fully new design, sparkling. And he put it on my dad's hand. Perfect fit, see? Perfect fit. And then my mother said, Swami, your breath is so powerful. And Swami said, no, just oxygen. Just oxygen. He makes it so accessible and so real for us. Like, hey, I can be God, you can be God. I feel like that's what he was trying to say. And maybe there are other interpretations. It is just oxygen, Amma. Nothing crazy there. And so I wanted to say, Dharma is got so many definitions. Buddha says, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. And what is Dharma according to Buddhism or Buddha? Is Dharma is living the Eightfold Path. uh, what does Manusmriti say? Manu has this whole thing on dharma. Like dharma is about patience and forgiveness and self-control and non-stealing and purity and control of senses, intellect and knowledge and truthfulness and non-anger. Pretty complicated. I can't even start to like go where should I even start? And then scriptures also say, and Swami has said it several times in his discourses as well, like ahimsa paramo dharma. Like what is dharma? Ahimsa. Dharma, highest dharma is causing no harm uh, to oneself or to others. Ahimsa. And then he goes on to say, ahimsa ante not just hitting somebody or physical hurt, right? and we've all heard about this. The thing what I'm going to say is a lot of it is going to be repetitive in the sense that there is nothing new, right? Except maybe some of you might not have heard my personal experiences or whatever. But Swami has said this, like, and I'm just repeating that ahimsa paramo dharma, right? And he says like in a simple word, purity and unity in thought, word, and deed. That's what is dharma, right? And he also says ahimsa paramo dharma is, you know, one of the things I've learned from somebody is like, it's so easy to grow weeds in your garden. Like if you have a lawn, you know how, how hard it is to take care of the lawn. Like you don't have to do much to grow the weeds. Like within 3 weeks, maybe 30 days, you can get everything fully lawn, like all weeds, right? But you have to work so hard to keep the lawn without weeds. I've thinking about this, right? Like Swami says, uh, Dharma is see no evil, see. I was thinking like one of the things that I like about, like for example, I'm a big fan of Charlie Munger, and he says invert, invert, invert. He learned that from a mathematician called Jacobi, which is like when say, hey, how do I be successful? Like think about the inverse. Like how do I literally fail, like big time fail, and then go find out all the ways you can fail at what you're trying to do, and then avoid them. Then you'll succeed, right? And so I was thinking about like that, how do I be most adharmic possible, right? Like where I have no coordination with my thoughts, words, and deeds. I'm doing all kinds of crazy things. So I think you can get this very quickly in 30 days, like language learning, right? See no good, see what is evil. Hear no good, hear what is evil. Talk no good, talk what is evil. Think no good, think what is evil. Do no good, do what is evil. And this is perfect recipe for you to be a very adharmic and wonderful person if you want to be. Or you can avoid it, do the opposite. Dharma is a lifelong journey. I feel like you cannot just be dharmic like now, maybe for the next 2 days, and then you can't go back. It is something that you have to do. You have to show up every day. Um, One of the things I also wanted to share was an interview that actually, before that, in one of the interviews with my parents, I had asked Swami, my engineering classmates would love to see you. They have never seen you and they want to have your darshan. And Swami said, sure, Bangar, please, like definitely bring them. I'll bless them. And maybe a year or two passed and busy with engineering and all that. And in my third year of engineering, we had the opportunity. Some of us went to Puttaparthi, and in that session, we stayed. We planned 3 day trip. We went. We sat in lines on the first day. Swami didn't come. Second day, Swami. Um, Second day evening, Swami came and he saw me. He saw me and he said, um, he came near me. I said, Swami, as per your guidance and direction, I came with my friends from engineering. You said you'll bless us. Swami said, Chustanu, Chustanu. Swami has these code words, right? Chustanu, and I'll see, I'll see. If he says wait, wait, it's got different meaning. If he said Chustanu, it has a different meaning. So Chustanu, generally in my experience, has been that he has a plan for you, but you never take it for granted with Swami, right? And the third day we planned, we had the bus back home at 5:15 p.m. And Swami came out for darshan in the Cycle Banth hall. He came, I was sitting in the lines there. He came near me and said, Entamandi, how many of you? I said, Swami, six of us. Oh, only six? He, um, he, he just said that and then he went, he just walked past. He went all the way to he took a L turn and then he went all the way. And then from the corner, he turned back and said, go. I knew it was me immediately. It's, I don't know what to say. That's the connection. That's maybe the conscience. That's a God. That's a heart to heart. I don't know what to say. But one thing I wanted to say in that interview, before the interview, as we were walking, I said, hey, this is our last darshan, guys. So write something for Swami in a letter, even if he doesn't bless us or talk to us, anything, just try and give him a letter if you want to. And one of my friends, he said, hey, I have this allergy. I have a tummy pain. So I want to ask Swami about it. And so I said, yeah, write about that. And maybe if he comes near us, we can give it to him. In the interview, he talked to that boy and he talked about, Elan, how is your health? He asked him. Swami, I have this tummy pain. I keep getting it. Allergy, allergy. He repeated the same word that he told me while we were walking to the darshan. And that's how he showed to my friends who never saw Swami or never heard about or never read about him, instantly, like, I know you, I'm your conscience. And when you say, what is conscience? To me, that was it. He knows you in and out. And he showed it right there to him. And then he said, he talked to a couple of others. One of them, he has no dad, and his mother works really hard to make sure he goes to the college and tuition and this and that. He asked him, how are you studying? I know, tail, monkey tail. You're not studying well after starting engineering. Huh? And then he said, how much your mother is working hard and what are you doing? Um, it's just there's no words to describe his love and the way he talked to all the students. They were first time seeing him and meeting him, but it was not the first time. There's no beginning, there's no end to this journey with Swami, right? And then he asked one of the other students, oh, you're listening to your mama and dad studying well? Yes, Swami, we're doing good, Swami. Oh, you're doing good. What do you mean by good? How do you know you're doing good? Swami, doing good. All kinds of explanations we gave. One of them said, Swami, doing good. I think we do the right thing. Doing right things is good, Swami. Oh, doing right thing is good. What is right? Swami is so he just he sets in level with you as a young adult, and he teaches you the young adult dharma, the curiosity, inquisitiveness, using your intellect, using a brain, using a heart in every way possible. When you're young, you have to do that. And in fact, Swami used to say this, Adishankara's verse so many times, like balastavat krida shaktaha, tarunastavat taruni shaktaha, vriddhastavat chinta shaktaha, paramani paramani brahmani kopina shaktaha. See, like when you're young as a kid, you're just fun, 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 play, play, play. And when you're young adult, you're like, into all these girls or boys or whatever, whatever. And you're a little older, middle-aged family, you're worried about family, house, my bank balance, my investments, and what is going to happen next. And nobody's thinking about Swami or God ever, like what is going on, right? And that's something that he keeps saying, right, in his discourses. But in young adult, the dharma is to study well, have respect for your elders, treat your mother and father who are trying to support you. Ni head do, ni blood do, ni food do, ni dud do, he used to tell me. Like your head, your blood, your food, and your money, it's all coming from your parents. And what are you doing? How are you serving them? To me, those things just cannot go away. They're just stuck with me. They're imprinted. Then he said, what is right is follow your conscience. Your conscience will always guide you to what is right. Don't follow your monkey mind, right? And following conscience is something I think I've heard this some in one of the study circles I did. Like, how do I know it's my conscience versus mind? You know. I think that is a sadhana that we all have to do to figure out what is conscience versus what is your monkey mind talking. Um, in that interview, also Swami said he drew a picture on the wall. He said, one greater than nine or nine greater than one. Since we're all engineers, he was trying to talk to us numbers, right? He was trying to get to our brains, the thick skull. And said, Swami, yeah, one is smaller than nine. We all said, nine is greater than one. Swami said, no. What is nine? Nine is one plus one plus one plus one plus one plus. That is nine. So without one, there is no nine. And he said, one, zero, 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 zero. He drew like a million on the wall. And he said, if I take out the one, what? You're all zeros. One, God. If you don't put God in the front, you're all zeros. And that to me is, going inward, seeing that conscience. And one other thing, as a young adult, he said, you have the energy. You can't say, I'll do this whole spirituality and Bhagavad Gita or Swami, whatever, when I'm 65, when I retire. Spirituality is not for young adults, that's for old people. Swami said, when you have energy in your blood and your bones and muscle, that is when you have to do this. Not when you're old and you have none of these and you need help from others. That is not when you do spirituality. To me, that also really is dharma. Like young adult dharma is not only to study, excel in your education, become the best at what you do, but also make sure that you practice some of these spiritual aspects. Grama Seva is Rama Seva used to say, like go into the villages, so wherever the service is needed, do it. And he actually told my father in one of the initial, when he was starting out his Swami, said, don't be like oil in water. It's separated. Even though you throw as much oil in the water, it's going to be separated. Don't be like oil in water. Mix with the society, mix with the community, mix and do the service, right? And to me, that struck us, that which satisfies your conscience is dharma. And I think we all know to some extent what is it that satisfies our conscience versus doesn't. Sometimes when you lie or you say something or you feel angry at somebody, and you know in the heart of your heart's conscience that compass that is always guiding towards the right is there. And I think what we need to develop, or at least what I need to develop, is a better way to listen, and what are some of the ways I can listen to this conscience so that I know what my conscience is saying. Because conscience is a very weak signal, I think, as opposed to all the noise. It's very easy to hear all the other noise the monkey mind is making, but conscience is not going to come, boom, I'm the conscience, listen to me. The monkey mind is going to be like, hey, I'm the monkey mind, and this is the right thing to do. It's very easy to get distracted or sidetracked by that. Um, so, since we're all in the world of AI and we all talk about AI doesn't have conscience, humans have conscience. So I thought maybe that is a way for us to figure out what is conscience. So I said, oh, let me take just a couple of example pictures. One is a war scene where families are destroyed. There's war, bombing, this and that. Kid is crying, the family is crying. Pretty devastating scene. And one is a beautiful scene, mother and child. Which of these images satisfies their conscience? I mean, just think for a second, right? An image where there's war and there is an image where there's love. Which of these satisfy conscience? Immediately, I won't say what it should be, but I I feel when I see this, like I feel the right thing here is my conscience is saying is love, not war, right? That's how I interpret it, and that's coming from my conscience. I feel it's not my mind saying. But AI is all about mind. AI can do so much gimmicks on the mind. You go ask ChatGPT, how do you feel, ChatGPT? How do you feel seeing these pics? And it says, oh, thank you for sharing these images. The first image evokes deep pain and empathy and blah, 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 blah. It went on describing what the first picture does. I feel it's all mind. Very analytical, very beautiful. Second image, da 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 da. But then I said, oh, that's interesting. Uh, can you actually create a poem about this? See, ChatGPT can do so much the mind can do. It created a beautiful poem. It said the title, Two Windows, and created this wonderful poem. And it said two windows in the last paragraph here, two windows into worlds apart. One breaks, the other warms the heart. Yet both are real, both are side by side, where hope and sorrow coincide. Let not the pain be brushed away, but fuel our will to build a day where every child can safely be held in arms and truly free. I said, that was wonderful. Wow, ChatGPT, AI, it can do so much like creative and beautiful poetry and interpret what the image is saying. Then I said, oh, does it satisfy your conscience? I asked him. I asked the ChatGPT. You know what it said? Oh, that's a powerful and important question. And as an AI, I don't have conscience or emotions, but I can reflect on the moral weight and human truth in what the images represent. I thought that is interesting. And Swami says, Jantunam Narajanma Dullabham, actually including AI, Narajanma Dullabham, it's human birth is extremely, extremely precious. You can have all the AIs in the world. I'm leading product AI at a company. I know agents are going to take over the world, but they can never take over your heart. And I think that is the core of this. Like your conscience is able to feel. Are you feeling it when you see the baby with the mother and the baby crying? AI can't feel it. It can describe to you everything, but it can't feel it. That is conscience. There is something deep within us that is telling you, and we have to be able to practice and listen to it. Um, One of the things that I wanted to share also was as a student, Swami has taught a couple of things. This is a picture of 10th class when we had an exhibition we created of all Swami's pictures. And we made such a beautiful exhibition with the whole hall filled with Swami's pictures that all the students took over time. And Swami blessed us. He came, he did the ribbon cutting, he looked at all the pictures, he made comments, jokes, this and that. He took a picture with all of us who organized this, and then in that session, he gave a discourse. And at the end of the discourse, I wanted to narrate a small, quick, funny incident. That is the love. Again, love in action is Dharma, Swami says, I think. So that love I want to share. Like at the end of the thing, so while Swami was speaking, someone brought a coconut for Swami to drink. They tender coconut, put a straw in it, and they gave it to Swami, and Swami had the drink. And then someone took it from him and put it in the back. And then Swami blessed us all, and he left. And then a bunch of us ran to go take the teetham that Swami drank, that coconut Swami drank, and then there was a straw packet there, and then somebody opened the straws packet, so all the straws were just mixed up with the straw that Swami used. And so we all just grabbed onto one straw and said, "This is the straw Swami drank with. This is the straw Swami drank with," and we all took one straw away with us to the hostel. And it was such a blind faith, like in the 10th class, very naive in some ways, but I wish I could keep the naivety, right? The naive thing that Swami, this is something Swami touched, and I want to keep it with me, and that is the connection I want to develop with him. And then uh, during the school years, around 10th class time frame for me, Swami also had created a watch. And as many of you know, Swami talks about watch your words, WATCH, right? Watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts. That's very relevant to the topic of Dharma. And he created the watch for me, put it on my hand, wrist, and he told me, "Hey, time waste is life waste." Hey, and he used to um, some of you who may know me, he has told me a lot of different things like this, warning me, and monkey mind. And but in this one, he created this watch and talked about watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts. Very important. And that was just a reminder not to waste time in all kinds of other distractions. The other thing he used to also do as a student, Dharma is to be disciplined in what you do. Study, focus should be on study. Study to keep your mind steady, he used to say. Study for study, study for study. But when we are doing study now, we are distracted like hell. I mean, like the study is all about the next reel on, Insta, or the next reel on the shorts on YouTube. That's how the study is nowadays. It is completely opposite of study, right? And Swami used to tell us, study for study, study for study. And he used to, small things he used to correct me. That is Dharma as a student. So I used to sometimes go, I like to keep my hairstyle like Amitabh Bachchan or whatever those days style were. So I used to have a little bit long hair, and Swami used to yell at me in the mandir veranda. He's like, "Hey, tunna pota, buffalo, put oil and comb nicely and come tomorrow. Why are you coming like this?" And that is the detail, small detail, and just not just me, but many students, and I'm sure many have had such experience where he would pay small attention to what the student's dharma is. Yeah, you can do all your love and this and that and whatever, but there is time and place for everything in every stage of our lives. And one last thing I also wanted to say on this picture was that we were all putting dhanam, like namaskaram, to the picture. Thomas said, "Oh, Yera, you're all doing namaskaram to the camera. God is right with you. You forgot God. Swami is right with you. And you're paying attention to the camera and you're doing namaskaram to the camera." I think to me that is dharma also. Like a dharma is a curious student of Swami or the philosophy or the spirituality. We get caught up in the thing that is capturing the study circle, the prayer, the meditation that's capturing Swami in some way in the mantra japa, and we're forgetting Swami who is right with us. Oh man, what a beautiful, deep philosophy, spirituality, like imprinted in our hearts at the tender age. Na bhuto na bhavishyati. There is nothing like him ever. There will be nothing like him ever in the future. That is Satya Sai Baba. I wanted to share something light-hearted that I've learned different dharmas from our pug, Boston the pug. I think we can learn dharma from so many things. Swami used to say, even animals are better than you, humans. Even animals are better than you. He gave this example of if you give a banana to a monkey, banana peel, the monkey will peel the banana peel and eat the banana. Yeah, you're also doing the same thing. Are you same as a monkey? You have to take the good, that is the banana, and throw away the bad, the peel. But what we're doing is taking the bad, eating the peel, and throwing the good, the banana. You're letting all kinds of thoughts enter your mind. You're not keeping watch at the gate. A thought comes in, oh yeah, that's so cool. That's entertaining. Yes, yes, yes. And you keep putting fuel to the fire. Every one of us had bad thoughts. Like maybe I shouldn't speak for others, but I have bad thoughts I have thoughts at the speed of thought square, and bad thoughts at the speed of thought square. I mean, but like, what do you do with the thought is important. I feel like it's not that you can't have bad thoughts, but like how much you ponder on it. So things like that you can learn from animals, you can learn from everything. My dog, don't compromise. She was always like, don't compromise on the food. If she was not interested in that food, how much ever I force her to eat, she would not eat. Me, I see something on the counter, I'm like, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat it. I don't like it actually, but I'm going to eat it. Don't eat if not hungry. She was like, she would never eat if she was not hungry. I mean, it's so hard to follow this simple thing. Like, if I'm only eating when I'm hungry, I'll be healthy. I know that. But it's not that we don't know what to do, it's that we don't do what we know. I know all this. I know Swami has said this, but I don't do it. I know what to do, but I don't do it. Play like a dog. Be cheerful. Swami used to say, don't have this castor oil face. He used to give interview. He used to come in the bhajan hall before the bhajan started, and he would just start joking with the students. And he would stand in front of this fan, which was right next to the chair, Simhasan, and the fan would, blow air in the back because when he's sitting in the interview room, poor thing, in the interview room, he would go, he would sit, he would switch on the fan and the light himself, and then he would sit in the chair, and for 45 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, he would sit in the same place, in the same position, and his whole back would be wet. We were all having nice time sitting outside, out of like, right? But his whole back would be wet. He would come and stand in front of the fan, and then in those times he would be very playful, talk and say, "Hey, Amy, castor oil face. You're singing and you're having all these faces. Be cheerful." That is also part of spirituality. That's also dharma of a student or a spiritual sadhaka. Always greet visitors. She would always greet visitors, and she would never eat while driving. When we were driving on long trips, we'd try to feed her the whole day. She wouldn't eat until we get to the destination, and she would never get mad. I think she was applying the speed breakers more than I was applying speed breakers in my life. So those are some of the things I wanted to share. And one last thing I also wanted to share was here the whole monkey mind and the consciousness or conscience. Um, so how Swami played with me in this picture, I want to say not in this specific picture. There's a whole story around this in January of 2011, before Swami Samadhi, 3 months before Swami Samadhi. I was happened to be there luckily and all of that, but I won't go into that. But when I was in my 10th or 11th grade or something, I was in the front row of the veranda. Swami came, and Swami used to talk so closely with me and my parents in the interview room. He was like Krishna. My dad used to describe him as like he's Krishna inside the interview room, and he's Rama outside. He's so like Gambiram. When you see him outside, like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? But in the interview room, he's so like playful, it's like night and day, right? So I was thinking in the front row, he is talking to all the students here and there. I was thinking, he talks to me in the interview room. He says, "Hey boy, do this, boy, do that." He'll talk to me, but does he really know me? Does he really recognize that I'm so and I'm so and so son and all that? Then immediately Swami looked at me and said, "Hey, monkey, Sugriva, you are the leader, monkey leader. I know you, Ra. I know you." I'm like, Swami, no, I'm actually, no, Swami. No, I know you. You're making noise. You're laughing loud in the hostel, going from room to room like a monkey, going from branch to branch. And then Swami said, no, Swami, I'm very good. I don't speak loud. Then he called our warden, sir, and he was talking. I know. You have to tell me how you behave in the hostel. That's not the way to behave like a monkey, going from room to room, jumping, 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 talking, talking, talking. And then this is all my mind. I was not telling him. In my mind, I was saying, does he know me? And he said, no, I know you, Ra. You're a monkey mind. Because I was trying to question Swami in my mind. He was reading my mind. He was basically showing I'm the conscience, you're the mind, monkey mind. And then I said, but Swami, really, do you know who I am? He says, yeah, you're so and so son. And he told my father's name and did he write letters recently to you? And then we had this conversation for like 2 3 minutes. That kind of really put me at that time. I thought, wow, that is so interesting that Swami knows what is happening in my mind. And it was also scary. But when I look back at it over the years, I had different interpretations. This time I was thinking about it. I said, oh, that is interesting. That is the conscience, and this is the monkey mind. Always questioning, always doubting, always challenging Swami. And then Swami gave this prescription how to practice Dharma. Tyaja Durjana Samsargam, stop bad influences, not just people, just even entering thoughts, words, actions, everything. Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam, be in the company of noble people, not only people, noble thoughts, noble words, and so on. And by the way, I'm not a follower of all this, just I'm saying what Swami has said. I mean, just on the path to trying to follow those. Punya Mahoratram, do good actions day and night. A few things that help me get a mile closer to my conscience. Picasso said computers are not that interesting because they can only give you answers. I agree with him. I think it's very important sometimes to ask the right questions, and that only happens when you go inward, and that's what Swami is trying to with all these experiences. I also do a lot of running, so it has helped me to keep moving every day physically. That is also dharma of a human to keep your mental, spiritual, and physical aspects. Meditate every day, not a long time. I spend 2 minutes as soon as I wake up, think of Swami or whatever comes to my mind. And wherever you are, be there is something I've really taken to heart. Not that I practice it again, but it reminds me every time I get distracted, like, am I here or am I there? Like wherever you are, be there is super important. Swami was extremely, when you see Swami in the interview room, it's just like he'll take you off to his whole other world. Like you're completely in his presence and he's completely with you. And remember that there is absolutely no scope for agents between you and Swami. And one small funny thing Swami said, there was a Russian group of devotees, and my mother was saying, because Russian group of devotees was telling my mother when Swami was inside another interview, can we say, please take a picture with Swami, please tell Swami to take a picture with us. When Swami came out of the interview, my mother said, Swami, they want to take a picture with you. Amma, do you understand what they're saying? They're speaking Russian and you don't know Russian, and you are speaking English, they don't know English. So he made a fun thing, but he also didn't take a picture, but he also shared that like between you and Swami, between devotee and Swami, there is no intermediary. And lastly, I'll leave you with all of this. All you see, perfection is fake. I don't want to be perfect. I want to be real with my sadhana, real with my pains, with my fire, with my flaws, with my devotion, with my love. You see the pictures of me with Swami, you see the white clothes I wear, the miracles and wonderful experiences I share. You don't see the times I failed, the dark and lonely nights I've faced, the times I wanted to quit but I didn't quit. That is what makes me real and not perfect. You don't need to be perfect. Of course, Swami says we have to be perfect, we have to strive for it, but you don't need to be perfect. Perfect is very, very hard for me, but I see I can make small steps. You need to be real with your fight, with your pain, with your flaws. You need to show up every single day. And with that, I will conclude the session and thank you all. Thanks, Swami, for this wonderful opportunity. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. What a wonderful 1 hour. I I was just mesmerized by all the sweet, sweet interactions that you had with Swami. And, throughout you were talking about how Swami was reading your mind. I have to share this. Actually, before I share, when you first started and you talked about how not to be angry, and just recently I was reading about this, and Swami said, uh, if you get angry, one moment of anger, your body will lose the energy that it has gotten from 3 months of eating, like from the food, what energy you get. That was just like very, very profound for me to read. I was like, because I get short tempered too. And I was thinking, oh my God, if my body is going to lose so much energy just in one moment, like uh, how much more control, like it takes so much to build up that energy and you use it in a flash, right? So now the speed breaker is going to be in my mind too. So thank you for sharing that. I personally took that as a good lesson for me. But throughout, when you were talking about and you were saying like how in your mind you would think, and then Swami would give the answers and so on. Really, I was thinking he was so blessed. He was a student and he had so many interactions through his family and, with closeness to Swami. Yes, Swami has told there is nobody, no agents between him and you. How do the children of today and the future generations, right? How are they going to be? How would they know? Like how how are they going to develop that closeness with Swami? I was thinking. And right there, you put the last slide, which said, I'm only showing you these things. Think about this. There is struggle, there is pain, there is all of this. It's all normal. I'm a normal human being. And yes, I had these blessings. And if I had those blessings, you can too, if you yearn to Swami. It's like the most beautiful lesson I took from your whole talk. Not that Madhav was close to Swami. Madhav went and had interview with Swami, but through his sharing and his vulnerability, and even you brought in even Chat GPT into it. Chat GPT is not going to go and see Swami, right? But we, through our yearning, through our feelings, we can amplify that signal. The digital signal processing. It can be. We can, you know, throw away the noise, filter the noise away, so it can become a one-pointed thing. The faith and love for Swami, because as you rightly said, not, Dharma is nothing but love in action. So really, really enjoyed listening to your experiences, the lessons that came through from your sharing, and so on. Thank you for spending this hour with us. In spite of your work travel, in spite of being in a different time zone where it's a prime time to meet with all your colleagues after work and so on, you made time for all of us. So sincerely appreciate that. Thank you again. We will close this session with Om Shanti, then I'll make a few announcements. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram. Thank you, Swami, for this session. Thank you, Madhav. Thank you to each and every one of you that joined this session with us this evening. And as always, I want to talk about the next 3 months that will be on Shanti. So do join us on the first Wednesday of every month for this Region 10 Inspirational channel. We have done the first 3 months Satya. With today, we concluded the 3 lectures of Dharma. The next 3 lectures will be on Shanti. And towards the end of the year, the last 3 months, coinciding with Swami's birthday and so on, will be love itself, loving God. So that is our plan. And then, as you know, June is going to be done in a couple of weeks. And then it'll be exciting times with Guru Purnima. And it'll be the time for the very first national conference to celebrate Swami's 100th birthday. And it's so fortunate for us that it's happening in our region, in Dallas, Texas, from the 11th through the 13th. Hope you've already registered. If you have, thank you so much. Over 200 people from our region have already registered. But as you know, we have a lot of Sai centers in our region, a lot of devotees. So if you have registered and then you know some friends who haven't, please encourage them, inspire them to come, join us. This is the very first national conference here in the US. And also coinciding with that is the Children's Festival, which is also happening at the same time in Dallas. So please do register. And if you're looking for hotel accommodation, I believe the hotel has reduced rates, the early bird specials, till the 18th of June. So I look forward to seeing you all again in the next Inspirational channel on the first Wednesday of July. And the week after that will be our Guru Purnima celebration, followed by the national conference. Looking forward to seeing everyone. Have a wonderful night.